Good morning again. It's June 28th, and the reason why I bring that up is it's the first day of the 2 days for the City Fair Bullet Blast of Shepherdsville, and this is the Yes Way Jose program. Again, a podcast we do as many days as we can get it done. We're always trying to find out. We got a good guest for you today, but we want to just bring up a couple things before we get started. Isn't there? Well, first of all, Eli's not here. He gets docked for pay. That Travis, do we get to dock his pay for that?
We don't pay him.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just automatic. It's already docked.
Free. He works for free. It's like the rides tonight and tomorrow night. They're free.
Yeah, he's actually child labor.
Oh, so that's a problem.
Yeah,
we may have to get back with the labor department on that.
There
piece.
we go.
But anyway, good morning again. And there's an email address that we have. What is that email?
That's yeswayjosemail@gmail.com.
Yeah, we want to make sure that people know a little bit about the podcast, but you can go to that. What was that again?
yeswayjosemail@gmail.com.
You actually do that better than he does. So I think your job security.
Well, I made the email, so I should.
Oh, well, good. That's glad you made the email and you know what it was.
That's
all
right.
Well, good morning again. Listen, we want to first of all tell you that, again, we just mentioned about our city fair, Bullet Blast. The next 2 days, we're going to celebrate 4th of July. But we have a 60-foot Ferris wheel in the middle of the park.
And it's free.
Yeah, and we actually put, that free thing is working out good for you. You can keep saying that probably throughout the podcast.
Everything I do is free.
Oh, okay. Well, free is good then for everybody.
Yeah.
So with that said, obviously, we took this podcast and we try to do different things to showcase a little bit about what's going on in our community. We've had a Bullet Central High School teacher here. We've had Peyton Griffey here. We've had Amber Odell, our community planner here in the city. We've had actually Courtney Burden here, who, born and raised here, kind of a great story, kind of cool stuff, military service, and was fun. But today, we want to focus on one of our local businesses. And we actually have Kyle Troutman Kyle Troutman today. And if you would say, just good morning, Kyle.
Good morning.
We're glad to have you with us. What we're going to do a little bit is we're going to just talk a little bit about, we want to talk about your business. Obviously, your local business. We want to promote you, and we want to promote people buying local. I mean, we have a number of opportunities as we continue to grow as a city, but we don't want to forget our local businesses. So with that said, I just want you to just tell a little bit about yourself, your family. You got kids, you got favorite color, shoe size, whatever you want to bring up. But spend a few minutes just telling us a little bit about you and your business and your family.
Well, I'm an 11 and a half.
My shoes. What's your favorite color on that?
Blue.
Oh, blue.
I'm pretty boring. I'm 37. I'll be 38 in about a week. I've got 2 kids and a great wife named Crystal.
And we know that.
Yeah,
we do know that part.
And everybody knows Crystal.
Yeah, everybody knows Crystal.
She's my rock.
I heard she was scared to come on the podcast. Is that true?
Yeah, she's a good talker too. So I don't, I'm not a good
prettier
talker
than you.
And
listen, I know I've had a lot of coffee today, but I can say that again.
No, yeah.
She's a lot prettier than you.
Yeah,
and we're glad to say that.
Everybody can say that.
Everybody says that.
That's very clear.
Well, we're going to say hi, Crystal, since you're not on our podcast today. But so anyway, got a family, got kids. Kids are how old?
Got 2 wonderful kids. A 6-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl.
Oh, wow.
Cadence and Luke.
Okay.
And they're spending time with their grandparents this week. I didn't know the Bullet Blast was here, so I forgot all about it. So I would have done that. That's a bummer.
All right. So you've obviously 37, going to be 38. Happy birthday early for you.
I'm getting there.
All right. No. So the Troutmans has been around a long time. I see on your shirt that you're 1961. I know my wife and I frequent the business, but it's a long time. Tell me about the business and how many generations are involved.
I'm the 3rd generation. My grandfather started it, and he actually got it from his wife's family. So actually, it's a really, really old business. I'm not even entirely sure. I think it's early 1900s. It was the Merriman store, and my grandfather was a Troutman. He bought the business from the Merrimans and changed the name. There is also a historic Troutman store back from the 1800s that probably is distantly related to us, but that one burnt down and that one ended. So
wow, that's kind of
but basically we sell a lot of like blue collar, a little bit of Western, but we've become, and I can kind of toot my own horn on this, we've become the largest independent Carhartt dealer in the state and Ariat dealer.
Oh, wow.
I think by volume. For a single store, we sell the most Carhartt and Ariat, and they're big brands for us.
Absolutely.
A lot of work boots, a lot of workwear, but we're very blessed. The town's grown, and we've kind of grown with it. So it's been really good.
Yeah, one of the first things I found out about Troutman's when they have their holiday during the holiday season, Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and then it starts, and then I thought, well, what is this? And when you go over there, it is amazing. And I've been in there probably dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. But when you come during that time, You better be ready because it's on. Oh yeah, it's on when you come in. I mean, it starts. What time in the morning does that start?
The Black Friday. I think we open at 7 to 7 that day, but that's a little unique, and I apologize to the surrounding people that live there because of the traffic. I do want to say that, but yeah, that's our busiest day of the year. But I mean, our whole Christmas season, we've been very blessed by the community.
You have a lot of quality products that we mentioned earlier before we even got on the podcast. Love the shirts. I mean, I wear them a lot. Anytime I'm on anything, everybody sees my shirts, and I'm telling you. But we have a lot of good businesses. But I think the thing for the podcast is we want to make people understand is that this isn't just a name on the building. This is a family. You said third generation. There's a lot of things that you guys have put into it. You guys are a very integral part of the community, right? Troutmans fits Shepherdsville.
Yeah, and my dad. I grew up in the store. I've known a lot of the customers for 20, 30 years, growing up seeing them. So I mean, it's kind of a local, homegrown mom and pop, and we're a little bigger than that now. But I still think we're small enough where we can service people, know them by name. So no, it's a good thing.
He was working at 7.
No.
40 hours a week. Nobody knows.
Not at all.
I know the truth.
Not
it's
at
a
all.
sweatshop. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's really good. And you guys have quality products. And I do think that you've got, when we look at people that are involved in the community, we do look at Troutmans and we're going to try to have other business out here with this. Kyle, we want you to know, you and your family, that we appreciate you being part of this. I mean, it's got a great history with it. I love history. But we want to make sure people understand that if we look at local businesses across the country, small business is 80% of the business in the United States. And small business has its category, but when you start looking at communities like Shepherdsville, one of the things that we look at is you've been a mainstay during all this time, and now we're starting to see a little bit of growth, as we talked before, and everybody's heard me talk about the aquatics there, haven't they, Travis?
Yeah.
And the park and the amphitheater and the playground.
I saw the aquatic center. They've got the fence up and stuff going. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that we've got all the permits that we're going to start putting a shovel in the ground probably in less than 30 days.
I'm excited.
We're still working a few things out. I mean, it really is amazing when you think about all the hind work before you actually put a shovel in the ground. You put the ribbon out there and you get everybody's photo. But the work behind the scenes.
Oh, I can't imagine.
It is a lot. It's just a lot of meetings, a lot of tweaking things because the cost of materials have been really causing some juggling for us of what we're going to put into it. It'll be a nice product, but some things are going to have to be cut back a little bit. Nothing bad, but just it's going to be a beautiful building. But there's some cool things that we wanted with it to make it a very unique building. But with all that said, all this growth that we're trying to create with having, first of all, family activities, having the baseball, having sand volleyball in the park and all that, it goes to our business model that we want to grow 10,000 people over the next 10 years. And when that people think that, oh my God, you're going to make us big. No, we're not. We're going to be that small town still. We're going to have more of a local business that we'll be supporting, but we're also looking for full service restaurants and some better shopping. I'd love to see it. I keep bringing this up, a Hobby Lobby kind of concept, a craft store of some sort. When you and Crystal don't have anything else to do, you want to open up a little craft store for us here in town.
She frequents Hobby Lobby enough.
See, we'll just let her have her own store. You guys
could be an extension of the boutique,
right?
Yes.
We'll
get back with him later on that. We're going to get that business model.
We're getting things moving.
And going back to the cost of building, we had our back lot paved, and
it looks good.
And it turned out great. But the cost went up about a third over a couple of years. From our previous quote. I mean, it's the same company, same everything. Just stuff goes up.
I built a house 2 years ago. Whenever the price of lumber was just doing this, so I know, it's a headache.
And it's important for people to understand that. We know that we're financially in a position to do a lot of this, and there's always going to be the questions about why borrowing the $30 million. We bring this up all the time in the podcast, but we want people to know there are two approaches to this. With what we've got planned in the next 2.5 years, almost all of this will be done. Right, we're going to have 85% of all this done as far as the kind of things we want to do, including in the park, because we got some phase 2 projects that are going to be tied into this. But it's important for people to know, had we taken a lighter approach, it would take 10 to 12 years to get this stuff done. Well, if you're like me and you've been around a long time, you're like, no, we're not waiting that much longer. And for a lot of the families that have moved already here, we've got people forget, we've had an influx over the last 10 years of new folks moving here because of the bigger cities, don't want the crime, taxes, or schools. They're moving out here. And Shepherdsville hasn't been that attractive over those years. So part of that is now we have, an aquatic center, wow. And we might have a bowling alley from a private standpoint. If you start having things like that for families to do things here,
Unique stuff, right?
Yes, to have it here. We got paintball coming, by the way.
Oh,
Paintball is coming. It's already here.
Good,
Approved.
good.
So paintball will be just down 44 East for everybody. If you know the city limits.
It's out by KOA, right?
It's
out close to there?
It's past. It's for. You know where the giraffe is?
Yeah.
Right past that giraffe is St. Andrews is the city line.
What a weird thing to. You know where the giraffe is?
Everybody knows where the giraffe is. That's the better than that.
I know. It's just funny whenever you say it.
And I don't know who decided the giraffe there, but good marketing. So
Yeah.
that's great marketing because that's what you go in.
It's a landmark, right?
I wonder if that vet has ever gotten a giraffe. You know what I mean? They put a giraffe out there.
Yeah, I got my giraffe. I'm going to bring in. He's not doing well today.
I feel like they've probably never taken care of a giraffe.
I don't know about that. Anyway, so I wanted you to know because of that growth, that helps our local businesses, obviously sustain more as they move forward. But, we've got a good community here. And again, you're a reflection of that. You're a symbol of that, Kyle, you and Crystal and your family.
I appreciate that.
No, and we just love that you guys are here, things going on. But hey, side note here real quick. I apologize for all the listeners here. I didn't give you an update yet on the Gaga Ball. And we reached out to Eli. He's actually in Hawaii. They're still celebrating their championship.
I saw he got a medal.
He did. He got MVP. I think it was an MVP. He got again. He got not only his championship ring. Do they give championship rings to Gaga?
I'm not sure.
I mean, they're all getting rings.
He doesn't talk about it. I think he's a little bit ashamed.
He should be. He was a kid on the team and the coach.
He's the only one with the beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't play well. I don't know why somebody didn't check his ID, but I do think the other piece in this is that you see the rings. You see the rings they give out? I mean, anytime you win a tournament, the ring looks like 2 fingers wide.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a kid, he's 6 years old, Little League. I won. He can barely drag his hand. It's really kind of tough. But anyway, it's kind of fun with that stuff. But we'd like to, Eli, I hope you come back soon. And we know you're not really in Hawaii. We know you're working today, but that's good.
Yeah, he's actually down the street at Freddy's.
That's okay. That's okay. We'd send it better if he was in Hawaii, didn't it?
Well, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, did I go over the slide thing for the graduation?
Oh, no.
I got to go to a graduation party, and they had one of those big slides. Kyle, you're not going to believe it. I mean, the mayor went down the slide, and it's not much of room once you come down those big old
inflatable
slides. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one with the pool.
There's like 10 feet, and you get to react before you hit that. Again, the wall's not. It's just, it's an inflatable. But it was fun.
You looked graceful coming down.
Did you see the?
Yeah, I saw the video. It was graceful.
It was graceful.
Those are fun. I can still do those. My daughter took me to we went to Mexico a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And, went to a water park, and they have the slides. And
I got some stuff.
And you get to a certain point where the amusement park rides they start to get too much for you, and you realize that you're old, and some of them you can do, and then some you got to tell her like, hey, that kind of hurt me.
I used to love this. I used to love the spinning ones.
Yeah,
I can't do them anymore. I get sick.
So you're 32 and he's 37. And he just used the word old.
Oh, I know.
I'm offended.
I'm starting.
There's got to be a place for me.
Once you get to 30, that's whenever you start feeling like, oh, I don't feel as good in the morning as I used to. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the first time you start feeling.
That's happening to me now. But obviously, so I mean, what kind of feedback do you see sometimes with some of the projects? I mean, there's a lot of conversation. There's some people concerned, borrow money, but there's got to be a lot of excitement, and like even the city fair. But what do you hear out sometimes on the streets?
And you hear a lot of stuff that may not be substantiated, but you anecdotally, but you can tell like just from visually what the beautification, and you can tell what's getting demoed and what's being kind of forced to look nicer, and those are very positive things. I mean, and like you said, you could have done that over 10 years, but you have to get it done at all. You probably are going to have to break a few eggs and to kind of somewhat be forceful, or it wouldn't get done at all.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we want to make sure people do know is that all the properties that are in downtown area, they're owned by private people. The city doesn't own those properties.
Right.
We bought the property there where the used car lot was in order to make that part of the town square. But the bank building's staying. It's an historic building. But for the outside of that area, the Mulvaney building, it was inside the park. That's going to be the restrooms and rest area as you first come into the park. So there's things like that. But we don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody's business. But a downtown has to be a downtown. We're not Bardstown. We're not going to be Bardstown. Right. But can we make it a nice place to walk down there and get maybe a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and kind of walk into the park and enjoy yourself a little bit? Yeah, we can do that. And again, with the next couple of days are going to be a lot of fun because we want people to be excited. And what's really nice, Kyle, and I hope that you can see it, there's a groundswell. It feels like there's the car show that's on a Friday night, and then we've had the food truck invasions. We had the whiskey, wine, and ale. We've got Oktoberfest. Got a new one for you.
Oktoberfest?
Yeah, I'm working on the details now. So we are going to have our own local Oktoberfest, and it's going to be in October.
I would hope so.
Yeah, when the dates were first picked, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed about that one. So the Oktoberfest was looking at maybe like late September, but we couldn't work it out because that was one of the better days because we're trying to space our events.
I don't know if you can call it Oktoberfest if it's
September
not
Fest?
September.
Yeah,
September.
No, I don't know if that was going to work either. I don't know. It doesn't sound good, does it? I
didn't make the calendar. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's what you're going to go with. All right. So
blame Julius Caesar. No.
Yeah, good point. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna have Oktoberfest. We're gonna have a Halloween party. All right. We had one last year. It was a little challenging because we had the 2 homecoming games on a Friday, and we had the Halloween. This year it's October the 19th. All the proceeds will go to help Bullitt Central and the kids for lunch money and school clothes and school supplies.
Awesome.
But we're also going to take a little bit of that money and use it for sponsoring kids for the aquatic center. We want the kids to enjoy the outdoor pool, and so we're trying to find ways to either reduce the cost. The cost is not going to be that expensive. We're trying to figure out a number. I've been using $10 a lot. It's probably what it's going to be. That's a great deal to go swimming all day for $10.
I grew up using Bullitt Central's pool. I mean, I think that's where I had my, where I learned to swim at. We didn't have a pool. And actually, I grew up in the parking lot across from Mercy Hill. I mean, then the houses got demoed by FEMA after the 97 flood. But right in front of I guess it's where the city parking's at now.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, parking lot?
Yeah.
I thought I heard he was born in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's what I was.
No. There was a house there.
I just pictured a little kid out there.
Yeah, but where we have all the events at.
Oh, yeah. So, the farmer's market and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll forget that he was born in the parking lot. We'll just move on from
in a manger.
He's not homeless.
Yeah, not homeless.
But I do think it's important for people to see all these activities. There's a groundswell with that, right? So what we want, and you guys pay attention because it is your business to pay attention, for traffic patterns. And again, we know traffic and water are 2 challenges here, but we're going to continue to do what we can do. But so what else? I mean, your age, there's a lot of folks your age, and what do they think about the advancements, projects we're going to do?
I was going to say, what is something like as a business owner yourself, as like a local business owner, what is something that you would like things that you would like to see in the city? You know what I mean?
I think the growth of the city has been great. I think, there's a lot of warehouses, industrial buildings, and I think most people hard pressed wouldn't know what they are. I mean, I know what they are because they've provided me with business. We do a lot of industrial voucher sales. We do Jim Beam, New Flyer. They make electric buses. We just picked up Rivian right across the street.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Arvado. There's a lot of these things people don't know. But so I think all the growth is good, but I would love to see more. Maybe a little upper tier restaurants instead of, because I think we've got every fast food restaurant available. So, in the road thing, I definitely do notice it. If there's a wreck on 65, because there's only 2 parallel roads north and south, and there's or 1 parallel road east to west, 44. Yeah. So I mean, I absolutely, but there's only there's only so much can be done. They're state roads, so as far as getting another one built or another interchange, that would all be great. But that stuff takes years, and it takes a lot of money, and it takes stuff at the state level. A lot
of screaming.
Yeah.
A lot of baby in Frankfurt to get the voices heard.
And people don't realize, and I would love that. Absolutely. Because, you get one wreck and my business gets
it locks up.
Yeah.
So I think that, with all the growth, we're going to continue that because a lot of people say, why don't you deal with the water issues or the traffic issues? Well, we can do with what we can on the traffic piece. We are looking at a new interchange. We are looking at expanding 61 to 4 lanes. And we do want to try to find another bridge on the east side of 65. Now, all those are conversations, Kyle, and you're like everybody else. We understand it, but it's like tonight. Give me an example. So you have free rides the next 2 days. It's going to be busy. Now, it's going to be hot. So you're going to be in line with your kids, and it's going to be hot, and you're going to be like, oh, this is rough. But keep in mind the positives. I always tell people that you got to keep in mind that we're making it very affordable because it is what, Travis?
What's
the word? What's the word?
Free.
Free is the word.
I was not ready for that.
See, I know. I threw him a curveball here. But I want to make sure people do understand that there's things that we have to be accommodating for, even if we don't. I mean, I live at Heritage Hill, right across from Cedar Grove. And where is Cedar Grove? The warehouse city. Yeah. And it's going to be a part of our business model. But what we do with that and how we reinvest the money is the thing that I want. Like Travis and Eli and I talk, your age group has to determine what you want, because it is you. It's the future. It's our kids and grandkids, and I've got a 39-year-old and a 30. So I know, and I got another stepdaughter that's 39 as well. So I get it. What do you want? You were talking about what do you want to see here? And part of this, I'm going to go with that evil place called the election.
I was about to say, what evil place?
No, there's a couple of evil places.
Yeah.
One of them's Gaga Ball, but that's okay. You ever play that? I'm telling you, you play Gaga Ball. It's a dark place. It's a dark place.
Out of it.
Yeah, some of those kids are vicious. But that's what a lot of times elections are involved. Your age group, one of the things that we talked about, Travis, this is something for you too, Kyle. We're not out for you to stand at the street corner of Troutmans and put signs up there. But what we are asking for people to have a good conversation about that and start demanding what you want. If you want full service restaurants, let your elected officials work with these businesses and decide how you want to go about it. So that's what we try to encourage you from a local business standpoint. But you know what? You have an impact. People just need to have good decisions. I challenge everybody who listens to this podcast, if you live in the city or if you have wherever you vote, get to know the people that are running. Spend just a few minutes, call them, find out what do they want. Does that fit what you want?
And that should be an apolitical thing. I mean, you could talk to a Democrat, you talk to a Republican. As far as like getting a full service restaurant or nicer places of business, I don't feel like that should be seen through the prism of politics. But I think unfortunately now it's become sort of like a team sports thing where you're so atomized you can't talk to certain people, and that's very unfortunate.
Well, your point about the fact is I think all Democrats and Republicans like a good steakhouse. I'm just thinking that there's no
barbecue restaurant,
nice barbecue restaurant, an Italian restaurant. So I don't think we have any differences there. I think that's a good point for us on this podcast and for everybody that listens. We want you guys to know this is about Shepherdsville and the surrounding areas. We've got a good community. We have a good county. We need to be on the spotlight of being a place to live and work. And we can do that with the right attitude. This is not the us against them thing that happens in political things. Shouldn't happen at the local level. I think that's what you were saying, Kyle. I think that's true. And I think even from a business standpoint, all of your customers are going to be a variety of folks. It's just a matter of putting out a good product. Do they feel like you give them good customer service? It's the same thing from an elected official. I am not here to say that it's us against Democrats. Those things don't happen at this level. I don't think I've had a conversation like that since I've been elected. But I do think people need to understand that you've got to get involved and you got to vote. You got to vote because that age group doesn't vote a lot.
Right. I think people need to realize a lot too that a lot of the divisiveness is, if you really look at it, I mean, it's really just a lot of people at the top just trying to divide the people down below so that, we can't see what they're doing.
Yeah, it's hard,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think at the upper levels, there may
really,
not be a lot of difference.
They're trying to find every single thing they can find to make us fight with each other, so that we can't see
what I call distractions and
where they're sending our money.
That's a very good point. I don't think that could be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. I think that's out of the scope of this.
Yeah. But I do think for you, I think when you mention things like at full service restaurants, some other type of shopping things that we can have here, because the goal is to have 75% of what you can do in your day to do it here in our community, right? Because we think Mount Washington's a really good place, got a great park area. Bardstown's got some cool things. E-Town's just phenomenal in itself, and I think that's what we can be in that same realm. But people have to understand the commitments we have to make. We got to be very persistent about what we're going to have for families here so that you don't have to drive to one of these other cities to get those things.
And when At Home or Hobby Lobby or something, when they look at a town, they look at population base. They'll go in and do their due diligence. So we need to make sure that, on the city level, that we kind of, sell ourselves the best we can. And as far as getting some of those, I think some people may be against the corporate chains coming in as far as competition. I may be against certain ones because they may affect my business. But right. I think overall it's good for jobs. It's good for the community. I agree.
Yeah, and for a lot of us, like I said, if you look at where we're at, we're 20 minutes to E-Town, 20 minutes to Louisville, right?
Yeah.
So all that said, I think the biggest thing for us is what do we offer people to live here? Everybody's heard me say different things. And before we started this podcast, I gave them one of my little themes that I say to people about, listen, we can be an attractive city. And I use the Cinderella analogy a lot, but I think the idea is that we need to be attractive. What makes us attractive? Well, we're a good community. We know that. We've got good businesses. We've got good leaders. We've got things that work for us. But we need to make sure that we're ready for that time when that interview comes to be, why am I living in Shepherdsville? That we stand up and we show we've got all the accommodations that they would want to have to live here. between the school system, the sports. I mean, we got the football fields are artificial turf. The baseball fields is going to be next year. Those are cool things. I mean, there's investments in that, but parents are going to come to these towns and they're going to see these things like, oh, this could be a good place. That aquatic center will be a very nice way to be part of the interview process of why not live here in Shepherdsville or somewhere close.
I was going to say too, a thing about Shepherdsville that I feel like a lot of times people don't think about when it comes to like developments and stuff is geography. I feel like plays a big part in Shepherdsville. We have to be a little more intentional with like where, like what we're putting where, because just you go out in the West, you can't build anything out there. That's where I live. You're driving in hills out there. It's just there's a lot of things. The Salt River. There's a lot of things kind of blocking from making infrastructure. So I think that's another thing too. We have a lot of resources, but we need someone that's doing good management, to get those resources, arranged. So that's where Jose comes in.
So I want to ask you a question. So Crystal didn't want to be on here because
I just think she was intimidated.
She's going to be funny when she listens to this podcast. She goes, what you all talk about me for? But I do. I think the world of her, and I want her to know. And she made a really good comment because she was really, wanted to make sure that the Troutman, that you knew more about that history. But I want her to know that the next time we bring Troutmans on, she's got to come on. I don't care if she comes on with you.
Yeah, she can definitely do that. Yeah. And I will say, I will give you somebody marriage advice if they want it. We've been together for 10 years, and you've got to. I mean, she kind of is strong where I'm not. I mean, she's much more vocal, has much more of a spine, to be honest, than I do. I'm easy to probably too laid back. She's more assertive. So I mean, in running a business and we run it together.
You guys do a great job with it. I do. You know what I like? I can tell why you and Crystal run a good business because I every time I go in there, your employees are happy.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, is that about right?
Yeah.
Every time we go into Troutman's, I'm telling you, your folks are out. They're always smiling. They're always in great attitudes. It doesn't matter what day it is. I don't care how busy it is or how slow it is or whatever's going on at that time. They have a good demeanor.
You can tell it's a family atmosphere.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Absolutely. Like they're like an extended family because and we've had them for a long time, most of them, and they become like family. And when they have a problem, you have a problem, and you kind of share their pains and you try to help them as much as you can. So it's exactly. I mean, I take it personal.
I think from a work environment, I'm a little slighted and a little bit prejudiced towards small business, but I will tell you, I see that personal touch that you have with employees that you don't seem to have in some of the major corporations. They kind of just treat you as a number.
A number.
Yeah, I was about to say, I work in a factory. Yep. I can tell you my ID number. I'm just a number. Yep. Like they don't know anything about me.
So I do think, I wanted to tell you that because first of all, like I said, quality products, you guys, you really run a great show, but you have a lot of good people that symbolize the way that you care about not only your customers but your employees. So I think it's an awesome. And listen, I give Crystal props too. I'm just giving some trouble for not being here today, but that's okay. I wish
that's the price you pay for not being on.
She's a lot better to look at. She's a lot more pleasing.
We had that. We voted unanimously.
No, they're right. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. I'm boring. I'm like talking to a piece of drywall.
He's doing good. He said he doesn't have a spine. He's got to have a spine to hold up those big arms.
So that was anything.
This dude's huge. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he's huge.
Yeah, and we were looking at some of these podcasts. We're going to start doing some videos because that was one of the things we discussed. It's just having it out there where you can actually see folks, and we're going to be joking around a little bit. So we are working on that piece. Yeah. But thank you, Kyle. You need to work out an extra 15 minutes each day for me, and I hope I get bigger by the fact
we're going to do it right. We're going to go to the gym after this.
No. You're just going to go work out and call me and tell me when I'm done. Yes, you're going to text me. I'm done. I got yours in today. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, I worked out the other day by moving some weights into my garage to think about starting to
That's
work
working out.
That can be harder than actually working out.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you, first of all, thank you for being here today. Because like I said, a lot of times we just want people to know who you are. A lot of people know who you guys are. But I want to recognize that small business makes this community work. And we know that you're always involved when you can. And I'm going to let you do the plug because I already committed $100 to Crystal for your lost pet.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm so sorry about that.
So would you tell us about that real quick?
We had a golden retriever. Her name was Clover. She was 11, and she was in the store almost every weekend for 5 or 6 years. Probably.
Sometimes, yeah.
She was the same age as her daughter. I think she was born on the same day. And she got.
Born on the same day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think. I have to ask.
Pretty close.
Yeah. But we lost her a few weeks ago. She just just old age. She just,
Sure.
But my wife, kids, everybody took it extremely hard, and people at the store. We posted her, and we're doing a little fundraiser for the Bull County Animal Shelter. If you brought anything in for them, that you got 10% off your coupon. So
yeah. So when we get done here, I've got some errands to run, but I'm going to come see you. I'm making a $100 donation. I told her that on the phone the other day, and I know we need to understand animals are like kids.
We're big animal lovers, so yeah.
I mean,
bring your dog in the store.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. So I think for us, again, it goes shows about your community involvement, and I think it's a great gesture on your part, and I think it'll be something that'll go worthwhile. And we also want to make sure that anytime you guys do anything, Kyle, if you have things that you want to do that's in the community, we are here to support you from a media standpoint, anything we can put together, because we found out, we always knew we had a good community, but what we're seeing over the last couple of years is people really coming together. I mean, we're talking about either social issues or just being involved and trying to help one another. It's what's coming around, and I really appreciate that from you and you guys.
Well, I appreciate all the positive changes that I'm seeing, and I think you're doing a good job, a really good job.
And I didn't pay him to say that, by the way. No, I'll get you money.
The $100. You did say you were going to donate.
Well, I'm going to give him money, so I'm actually giving it to
the dogs.
As the benefit.
Oh, okay.
For the animals.
Kyle.
That's true. That's true.
No, it's all good. But listen, we appreciate you coming here, and we hope next time we want to keep promoting your business. Anything we can do, let us know. Shout out to us. What was that email address one more time?
YesWayJosemail@gmail.com.
I'll tell you, you got that down. Listen, Eli, we miss you. We should be here. You could see this guy's arms. Well, your brother doesn't miss you, but I kind of miss you. I think you're a good guy.
I'll see him later.
Oh, you will. Anyway, so one of the things we've been doing, I'm going to keep adding this to the end of the. So, Kyle, I got to tell you a little story. So, about 10 years ago, I started something. It's when you say goodbye to people, sometimes you just say goodbye. Well, I started saying, "Love, peace, chicken grease," and so I did it for a long time. I got my mother-in-law. I told you that, Travis. I have my mother-in-law saying it. I've got all my grandkids saying it. I got almost anybody that knows me. Love, peace, chicken grease. So we started it last week, or the last episode, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do it every time. So we're going to say, when we get done, first of all, Kyle, thank you for being here. We appreciate Troutmans being in the community.
Thank you.
And all that you guys do. But for everybody listening to this, it is time now. We're going to leave you with love, peace, chicken grease. Thanks.